Well, welcome to the Health Leaders Podcast. I'm Abby, Leadership Programs Coordinator here with the Health Leaders Exchange. I'm going to have my guests introduce themselves, and we're talking about physician relations today. So kick us off, Pam.
And hi, everyone. I'm Pam Stoyanoff. I'm the President and Chief Operating Officer for Methodist Health System in Dallas, Texas. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, let's start by giving a little bit of context. So explain your market, your system, the whole thing. So when we get into the questions, we'll have some context.
Sure, sounds great. So again, from Dallas, Texas, our hospital has 12. Our system has 12 hospitals, and it's a pretty big market.
Yes.
Right? So we're actually the fourth in size. So we're dwarfed by everybody else.
Yes.
Highly competitive market from a physician perspective. Very entrepreneurial. And so we still only employ about 15% of the physicians in our market. So that makes it difficult,
Right.
on all kinds of levels. But I enjoy my job. I've been there 15 years and hail from Chicago originally. And just happy to be in the southern sector with a little bit warmer temperature.
Yes, I believe it. So we're talking about physician relations today. It's kind of a big topic coming up in our executive networks. And I have this stat here that more than 550 ED residency spots went unfilled this year. It's huge and not great for looking at healthcare. So is that impacting your market as well? Are you seeing that? And kind of what are you doing to mitigate that a little bit? Or as much
most
as you can?
definitely we're seeing it.
Right.
Shocking because I'm surprised we actually are seeing it.
Yes.
So not so much in the primary care arena.
Okay.
We're still able to find primary care physicians, internal medicine specialists,
Okay.
that kind of thing. But where we are really struggling is on the specialty side. And so it's really more on the fellowship match than on the residency match. So many, like for example, in GI, there's about 1,000 jobs out there for GI physicians across the country, and they graduated, 200 GI fellows this year, across the country.
Right.
So we are looking for probably 5 GI physicians right now and cannot find them. And Dallas is a very enticable place to be.
Absolutely.
So very difficult to try and get them to come. So what we're finding we're having to do are things that are a little bit aberrant. Sign-on bonuses. It's a simple thing, but we used to give maybe $25,000, $30,000, and now we're finding that they're wanting $100,000 to $150,000,
right,
to sign on. We're having to change our expectations of their workloads. We're having to put all of our GIs and other specialties together into kind of one big pot so that they can back each other up and all of that.
Okay.
More so than we've done before.
Right.
So our challenges really are more on that specialty side.
Okay, interesting. And so do you think this is because of competition with the private sectors in the market? Or is it just the sheer number of no one's going to medical school anymore?
Yeah, the private sector for sure is having an impact, especially on the GI side.
Right.
So in our market, the private sector formed what's called GI Alliance.
Okay.
And they just gobbled everybody up.
Right.
And they paid them all this money to come there, and they want them to do all their procedures in the surgery centers and so forth, and they don't really care about them being on call at hospitals.
Right.
But we need them.
Absolutely.
And so now that's another thing that's changing is, on-call pay, which used to be, $850 for a GI, now they want $2,000 or $3,000.
Right.
So all of that, because they don't need it. They're in the private sector doing their surgery, surgery center stuff. Same thing for orthopedics. We're really struggling to find orthopedists. That's because they all just want to be in surgery centers too.
Yeah.
They're happy to do knees and hips, and they'll just do them in their surgery centers.
Yeah.
Now that they can stay longer and just forget the hospital setting altogether. So those kind of specialties were really right for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, are really tough, and that the private equity has been a big challenge in our market.
Yes, absolutely. It's my mom is a PA and she used to be in general surgery. And so you talk about this on-call kind of thing. And to me, it was just something that if you were in the general surgeries, you knew you were going to take on call. So it's interesting to hear that no, we expect more for it. But it's what did you think you were signing up for?
We used to call it, and we still do, privilege, right? You apply for privileges to work at a hospital.
Right.
And so it was a privilege to be there, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, not so much anymore.
It seems like the mindset.
So we're finding that across all specialties, that it's their expectations they look at working in the hospital, unless they're like a trauma surgeon or a transplant surgeon or a very complex general surgeon, where they really need that inpatient care. If they can switch their practice more to the outpatient side, we're a burden, to them.
Yeah.
So we're having to try and figure out how do we accommodate that and, and have enough physicians to do what we need them to do. Really, the only answer is money.
Absolutely. So what other tools aside from money are you doing for that physician retention? So you have them there, you're giving them technologies, automation tools, more staff. Like, what does that look like?
So we are doing, I think, a far better job of engaging our physicians in our decision making. That's really the first thing. They really want to be
key.
involved.
Absolutely.
It is. And really, we think we have over the past, but we really haven't.
Right.
So really sitting down with them, listening strongly. They care a lot about the efficiency in the OR.
Yes.
And so we're engaging a lot of consultants right now in ORs because they're just not efficient enough as an ambulatory surgery center would be or some other place. And so we're engaging in that effort to try and make them more efficient. So if we can entice them to come to the hospital, they can move quickly.
Right.
Some of those kinds of things. Technology isn't as big of an issue as long as it's consistent where they go. But I would say the involvement in what you're doing and getting them efficient so that anywhere they practice, it can be smooth and quick.
That involvement is key. And I didn't think about that before, but making them feel more a part of like the team. So they have almost like a little more pride of coming into work. They know that they're also helping kind of make decisions, make the difference and that kind of thing.
I think the last thing is, we just employ more.
Right.
Because the only other option is to employ them so that you can at least have some say in what they do.
Right.
And then, tell them when you come employ, this is what you're going to have to work in the hospital. You're going to have to be on call. You're going to have to do these things.
Right.
You just have to employ them.
Right. And we were talking to one of our CEOs a couple weeks ago, and we were kind of talking about this topic of physician retention. And so they get bought out by all of these private practices, specialty groups, but then they don't get to make the rules anymore, as they call it. They get told, these are your numbers. This is what you hit. You get paid this much and that's it. And so it's almost like, I'm wondering if we're going to see like a reckoning of, oh my gosh, we've got to go back to the hospitals. Maybe down the road, but it's going to kind of swing that the other way. And that's just where we are now.
See that. We'll definitely see it because, what the thing they do is entice them to join.
Right.
They give them retention bonuses and sign-ups and all these things. And the money is like, well, we have some physicians, GI is one of them, several of them who they don't like it.
Right.
But they have to wait till their contract's up and then they have a non-compete. So now they're coming to us and they want us to buy out their non-compete. Because they don't want to do that anymore. They got all the money.
Yes.
They don't like the way they run. They knew they never would.
Right.
But they want us to buy that out. So now we're kind of grappling. We don't generally do that.
Right.
But are we going to have to do that?
Or is it going to get to that point?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's interesting. That'll be something to watch. And so when we think about the competition, are you looking at maybe partnering with some like orthopedics, for example? They are definitely moving in the space of going to be outpatient, the whole surgery centers, the whole thing. Are you looking at partnering with them to kind of help bridge the gap of where the spaces are?
We are. And, especially around the orthopedic side, we're looking at some of the bigger groups that still remain independent, at least not private equity owned, but independent on their own.
Right.
And we're looking at them, trying to entice them to work with us solely. They are interested, amazingly. They really are interested because if they can join a hospital partner and have more say in how that hospital's run and what they do.
Sure.
It is coming full circle. They are interested. They want to sit at the table. And that is not something we're generally gifted to every specialty physician group.
Absolutely. Well, it's interesting the way healthcare is kind of going. It's more going in the partnership direction. So something you traditionally wouldn't have done in the past is kind of the direction that we're going. So it's interesting to see how all of that is coming about, especially in 2023. Well, thank you for that great conversation, Pam. More like this.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, more like this to happen at our CEO exchange. If you're ever interested in coming to an exchange, we have more information in our description below. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.